So you were gigging around Little Rock for quite a while, but then you ended up in Austin. How did that happen?
Well, I was back in Pensacola one day visiting my folks on a break from Larry. And he called me up and said, John, you need to go down to this place called Nighttown in Fort Walton Beach. And there's a kid from Austin, Texas playing there who just recorded one of my songs. And I've known this kid for a little while and he's pretty good, so I think you'll like him. So me and a buddy, we go to Nighttown in Fort Walton Beach. And of course the act is Stevie Ray Vaughan with the original Double Trouble. His album
Wow.
had not even been released yet. He had just quit the David Bowie tour. And no one had ever seen him.
Right.
Not there anyway. And so we went there, and the first song, Stevie opens up with Rude Mood. And, 1,500 guitar players get up and go have a drink at the bar. Second song, he did Voodoo Child. 999 guitar players try to start selling their guitars immediately and switching to bass. And I just looked up at the stage and I said, well, crap, if Larry moves to LA, I'm moving to Austin. Because any town that could produce a guitar player like that had to have something going for it. And this is before Austin exploded, And actually the bust, the big Texas oil and energy bust had happened. So Texas was in the middle of a huge recession. And so by the time I got there in '86, when you're looking for a place to live, landlords would be showing you a place and go, just a couple years ago, I could get $500 a month for a parking pad. People would put up a tent and live on it. I'm just going, oh, that's just nuts. Well, anyway, the bust had happened, and so that wasn't going on anymore. So Larry moved to LA. And I didn't want to stay in Little Rock. There was nothing for me left in Little Rock once Larry moved to LA. And when I was with Larry, that was, like I said, I had a blast. I got to meet and play with Fenton Robinson and Albert Collins and Albert King, and got to hang out with Albert King quite a bit.
Some of your early heroes.
Oh,
Yeah.
just incredible stuff, Sun Seals was riding high at the time. Him and Albert Collins were duking it out as to who was going to be the new king of the blues guitar. And they were both just incredible. And at the same time, you had Albert King going, shit, motherfuckers. Y'all don't stand a chance. Freddie King was long gone by then. And BB was kind of doing a very commercialized version of BB's commercialized version of BB. And rock had just, big hair and heavy metal stuff, and that's all good, that's rock and roll, and the other end was the new wave and the punk movement, and then there was a third movement at the time. It was a blues movement. And that was for the cats that didn't want to play hair metal, mainly because probably couldn't grow the hair. Didn't want to play punk and new wave, even though we kind of sympathized with some of the ethos at the time. So we got into playing blues. Now this is like down in Austin mainly. This scene popped up, and it was just, I went down there and it was just incredible. First night in town, my wife and I drove down 6th Street. We didn't know what the heck was going on. And it's just crazy. Man, there's bars lined up on each side of the street for, I don't know, 5, 6 blocks. And every bar has a live band in it. And every live band has a fucking guitar player that's just killing it. And you're here, you go in one bar and you'd hear this guy playing guitar and you just go, Jesus. And you'd walk out of that and walk into the bar next door. Well, this guy's better. You go out there and go down to the next bar. Well, this guy's even better. And it was like, what the heck? It was a town that at that time, by the mid 80s, really promoted and supported guitar playing. It was a guitar town. No doubt about it. At that time, it was a straight ahead guitar town. If you wanted a gig, you had to be able to play. Because there were too many great guitar players in that town. And it wasn't all blues. There was a lot of country, there was a lot of rockabilly, there was a lot of rock. But everybody had great guitar players. Everybody could play. It was just wild. And it was such a healthy atmosphere of competition and striving to make yourself better and stuff. It was a wonderful time to be in Austin, Texas. I considered myself very fortunate. I was there from 86 to 2006, right around that time period. And
you played at a legendary club there
I played
for a time called...
several legendary clubs there. I played at Anton's, I played at Continental Club, played the Hole in the Wall, played Joe's Generic Bar, played the Black Cat Lounge, played the Austin Outhouse, toured all over the country and all over Europe in bands out of Austin. It was a great experience.
Did you meet John Logan and Hudson there in Austin?
Yeah, I did. Hudson had a band called the Hoodoo Cats, and his guitar player was a friend of mine, Scott Reiner, out of Las Vegas. Great guitar player, great singer. Also worked at Ray Henning's Heart of Texas Music. That's where I met him. And so I had met Hudson because we were in different bands. You know, he had his band and I was playing in different bands, a couple of them. Now, we were just playing the same circuit at the time, a lot of times. Because when you weren't on tour, you came back down to 6th Street and got a gig.
Right.
So, you know, that's the secret to surviving as a musician, and especially as a guitar player in those days, was you worked as much as you could. Took every opportunity. You'd work 2, sometimes 3 gigs a night, 7 nights a week. You know, you played, and you toured, and you come back and you hustled gigs, and you had to hustle. And then a lot of the bars didn't pay very well, so you had to learn how to hustle tips. And we got pretty good at being able to the hustle tips out of a crowd. Of course, so they got their money's worth. They got one heck of a show and excellent music. And this is just all the musicians at that time. We all got really good at hustling the tips, and we all learned when a crowd was done how to turn the house. You know, we'd play 2.5 hour sets till the crowd stopped tipping, you know, and then we'd take a break and turn the house and then do it all over again.
Nice.
And so at several of those places, you could make a lot of money doing once you learned how to do that. Of course, you had to be good. That's the thing. You had to be good. You had to be able to play, you know. So, and then there were the other clubs, the historic clubs, the famous ones, like Anton's and the Continental Club, where you had to be really good to play in those places. And the pay was okay. You could make more money down on 6th Street, but the pay was okay, you know. But it was a lot of fun, especially at the Anton's on Guadalupe, or Guadalupe. Anyway, that place, because that was where all the great shows happened. Well, you know, the blues parties, the anniversaries, and stuff like that. All those guys from Chicago were down there playing all the time. And it was just this magical place and time. My wife bartended there for 11 years and bartended at the Continental Club for 8 or 9 years and stuff. And it was just a wonderful place to go hang out after you finished your gig down on 6th Street or some other part of town. You know, just down the street at the Hole in the Wall or something like that. You'd haul butt up the Antons, try to catch the remnants of the last set and see if they were going to play, shut the doors and, you know, play overtime.
Right.
There was usually, a lot of times there was an extra set after closing time. And it was just incredible. You'd see Otis Rush up on the stage, you know, standing 10 feet away. And only, you know, 30, 40 people in the joint. And so it was, you know, it was after 2, and it was just incredible. And the Antone's House Band with Derek O'Brien and Denny Freeman playing guitars and stuff. It was just, Mel Brown was an artist in residence for a while when I was there, and it was just great guitar playing everywhere. And I was fortunate enough, I got to play Antone's quite a bit and be part-time, got involved in the organization a little bit and got promoted by Susan Antone and Cliff and stuff. And they made my career, you know, helped me have a career.
They talk about Antones on the wall at the National Blues Museum, and they reference the Antones Women album. I'm thinking about Marcia Ball. John Logan mentioned he tried out for her band, but he didn't get chosen or picked for her band at one time. Did you ever run across her? I'm sure in your Antones years.
Yeah, I ran across Marcia when I was playing with a band called Hook and the Hitchhikers with Hook Herrera on harmonica and vocals and Alex Napier on bass and Mike Buck on drums. And we were playing a gig at Continental Club. And at the end of the gig, Marcia and her husband were there because I was the new kid on the block and had made a splash as part of a grand entrance. So people were there to check me out. And David Murray had just left her band. He was her longtime guitar player for several years. And she came up to the bandstand and said, I need a guitar player for my band. She goes, I'm in the middle of holding auditions, but she goes, I'll hire you on the spot. And I just looked at her and said, can I get back to you on that? Because I had no idea who she was.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And so I told the band about it, whose names I will not mention again just in case you forget, so that they won't go, well, one's passed away. But anyway, they spent all night talking me out of it, saying, well, she's piano player and she's the star and does nothing but New Orleans stuff, and you're a blues player and you want to play just straight ahead blues and stuff like that. And you know, she won't even give you a solo about maybe once a set and stuff like that, which was all fiction. I found out later. So anyway, I became infamous as the guitar player that turned down Marcia Ball's offer to join the band without even an audition.